The hardest part of building a business is not getting sales, believe it or not. The hardest part about building a business is setting up with systems that you can scale with. Because simply put, there's only 24 hours in one day, and you can't get all the work that needs to get done if you're going to scale your business and expand, which is why you have to have systems in place to scale with a team. That way, you can leverage other people's time to help you build your business. Now, this is amazing, but before we jump into the video about how we can use systems to really scale your business and make things easier for you in your life, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'm always coming out with new content about finances and marketing to help you build your financial future. Now, systems are a key part, and I want to break it down into three main categories: systems for your communications, systems for your marketing, and systems for your finances. We're going to start with systems for your finances. This is simply put, the systems you really need to run your finances for your business are going to be relatively simple. You need a payment processor. You can use Stripe, Honeybook, you can use PayPal, you can use banks. Banks offer in-house processing of all of these I mentioned, and there's much more. I recommend using Stripe just for the main reason that it is compatible with so many different platforms and is relatively easy to work with and has a lower fee of around 2.9% per transaction compared to uh, other options like PayPal, where it's much higher and it's harder to get your money from them. Stripe is very transparent and it's relatively easy to work with. Other financial systems that you're going to need in place to make your life easier is you're going to need QuickBooks installed. You can link it with Stripe, you can link it with your bank accounts. It's relatively easy to do, and this is just going to make your life so much easier when you get to tax season. And of course, you're always going to want to work with a CPA because they're really going to save you a lot of money. They're also going to prevent you from committing this little thing called tax evasion or tax fraud, which is very easy to do. And even if it was an accident, it may not look like it was an accident. So always hire a CPA to help you. Plus, they can work with the IRS if anything does come up in the future. Also, when you're setting up QuickBooks, for most business owners, they can do the bookkeeping on their own, especially if you're doing under $1 million in revenue. And it's usually really simple. You can create a bunch of automations within QuickBooks to automate certain debits and credits under owner's equity, liabilities, or assets. Now, what I always recommend you do, though, is you sit down with your CPA or someone who offers bookkeeping services, and you get those systems set up in place instead of mixing them up yourself. Again, you want to make things as seamless as possible for you so you're not burning yourself out when it comes to tax season or have tons of work pile up throughout the year. The next set of systems you're really going to need to set up in place is communication. This is everything in your business where you're going to communicate with your clients, and it's where you're going to communicate with your employees or contractors as well. I always recommend with starting with the basics. You need to have some sort of email set up, whether it's through Gmail or Outlook. You need to get emails set up that you can communicate with. You need to have them organized, optimize the folders, and also you want to link it with your calendar. I always recommend using Google Calendar. I also recommend if you're a service provider or you have to have meetings with people, I recommend using Calendly to schedule those. You can also integrate Stripe into Calendly. That way you can take payments if you're doing consulting or services by the hour like that. Further, you're just going to want to have something set up like Teams or Slack for easy direct communication and workflow order, or Trello or ClickUp. There's a bunch of different platforms that really work for project management and workflow in your business. This is really good when you start bringing on employees. That way you can set up proper workflows and manage what needs to be done and delegate those as such. Remember, if you are a business owner or even if you're a manager in a company, you have to figure out what your opportunity cost is. For example, if in our business we essentially make money through creating content. That's what creates revenue in our business. If we're not creating content, we're not making money. So if any task that doesn't help us create content that we can outsource cheaply, it is obviously a wise decision to do that because it is not a revenue creating task. Now, if you are a business owner, You need to figure out how much your time is worth in general. It doesn't matter if you're doing a revenue creating task, you might have a sales team for that. But whatever you're doing, you need to figure out what your time is worth. For example, if it's worth $100 an hour, you need to be doing tasks that will at least make you that much money back. And this is really important because if you're doing Excel sheet work or if you're doing scheduling stuff that can be outsourced to a VA or an executive assistant, anyone who can do that for you for about $25 an hour is going to really leverage your time so you can focus on the more important tasks. And when it comes to communications and workflow, that is the entire purpose of doing that. That is why companies build teams of employees to work together efficiently to create profitable outcomes for the business by using their time and skills to leverage for that, while managers and or owners can focus on more important tasks that only they themselves can do. Of course, as a business owner, you also want to have freedom and your time back as well. So having these systems set in place will give you both of those back. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is really important because it kind of gets a little tricky and a little fuzzy depending on the business, but it's all of your systems you need set up for marketing. If you are in the content marketing, the organic marketing industry, so you're not really running paid ads, it's going to be completely different than if you are running paid ads, or even if you're running newspaper or catalog ads or radio ads or television ads. It's going to be different for every industry. And the more you can systematize those and create workflows for those, so you can hand off major tasks to employees or contractors or marketing agencies that you have working for your business, the easier it will be. It's one of the things that we do here with Laney Media, with our social media management programs for the businesses that we work with. Now, further into that, if you're just a personal brand and you're just starting out, you really want to make sure you're leveraging things. Like, for example, if you're posting blogs to Google or pins to Pinterest. These are two things that are super easy to do. You can automate them. They're both okay with automation, so they're not punishing you for automation, but you can automate blogs on your website. And now I'm not going to go into specifics because every website is different, but you can automate those to post automatically. And with Pinterest, you can use Tailwind to really leverage your time. You don't have to be manually posting 30 pins a day. You can have Tailwind post those pins for you for a little bit of upfront work, or again, having someone on your team cover that for you. And this really leverages your time and your employees' time with this automation. The $20 a month for Tailwind is by far going to pay dividends over what it will bring you in revenue and in sales and in exposure than what it is paying someone or yourself manually posting all of those videos throughout the day. When it comes to Instagram, you really don't want to use anything automated to post to Instagram or even TikTok. You can automate through YouTube to a certain degree, but that's mainly on YouTube's own platform, and you can schedule posts out, which YouTube really likes the consistency and you setting stuff up to post before it actually goes up. So that is something to consider. But what really matters when it comes to all of this is setting up workflows that you can create content, edit content, and post content with. Things you want for this, you want stuff like Final Cut, Adobe Premiere, you want compressor, you want rendering platforms, you want sharing platforms like Dropbox or any cloud sharing platforms if you have employees, or remote workers editing your videos for you. You want to streamline this as much as possible and have systems in place. That way you can constantly be posting content to these platforms. You can be using stuff or other apps for hashtag research. That way you're not spinning your tires doing all this manual labor, and you can focus on what matters, which is really creating good content and content that will convert. The processes in between, they can be automated, they can be streamlined by using other platforms and or workers or contractors to do that for you. So this wraps up everything I wanted to talk about in this video. If you think I missed a certain system that is vital to a business, please comment down below. I'd love to know what you think. Thank you for watching this video, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It makes a huge difference in helping me reach more people. And I'm also coming out with new content all the time to help you automate, build your business through marketing and finances. Thank you very much, and have a great day.